What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And as always, we're back with another massive story, and this one is surrounding none other than Mason Greenwood. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. And let's get straight on into it. So we've had a big story coming out via The Athletic in the UK, and Manchester United have put out a statement themselves. We're going to get into all of that on the video. So let's start off with what The Athletic have said. They've just come out saying that Manchester United Chief Executive Richard Arnold has told senior staff 2 weeks ago that the club are planning to bring back Mason Greenwood. He also intends to record a video explaining his decision. And then we've got another story coming out from The Athletic as well, saying that John Murtough and Ten Hag are both supportive of Mason Greenwood's return to the Manchester United squad. And it says, as part of that plan for Mason Greenwood's return with the men's first team, Arnold intended to record a video explaining the decision that would be shared both with the staff and the general public. So, I mean, this is obviously coming out from The Athletic, which is probably one of the most legitimate websites in the UK for football news, saying that the Manchester United CEO, rest of the team, rest of the coaches, the staff, the sponsors, confirming that they are going to bring back Mason Greenwood. Now, Manchester United have also come out with a statement right off the back of this. I guess they thought that their hand had been played and that they had to say something, because ultimately this story is absolutely everywhere now. It's all over the internet. Everybody's reporting this same story. So Manchester United have also put out a statement themselves saying following the dropping of all charges against Mason Greenwood, Manchester United has conducted a thorough investigation into the allegations made against him. This is drawn on extensive evidence and context not in the public domain, and we've heard from numerous people with direct involvement or knowledge of the case. Throughout the process, the welfare and perspective of the alleged victim has been central to the club's inquiries, and we respect her right to a lifelong anonymity. We also have responsibilities towards Mason as an employee, as a young person who has been with the club since the age of 7, and as a new father with a partner. The fact-finding phase of our investigation is now complete, and we are in the final stages of the Mason Greenwood situation. Contrary to media speculation, where are we? It says the responsibility lies with Chief Executive Officer, who's obviously Richard Arnold. And then it goes on to say, it says, this has been a difficult case for everyone associated with Manchester United, and we understand the strong opinions it has provoked based on the partial evidence in the public domain. We ask for patience. So they put out this statement, but as we just said, all over The Athletic, everywhere, they are reporting that apparently Richard Arnold has confirmed within the club. The headline is Manchester United CEO Richard Arnold has told senior staff that Mason Greenwood will return. That is the headline. I'm not sure what everybody thinks about that. I'm sure some of you will be really happy. Some of you will be really, really disappointed. Do let me know in the comment section how you feel about this one. Obviously, I know it's a very, very touchy situation. I know it's a difficult one to talk about. It's a hard one for us to break down. It is, you know. Obviously, some people will say, you know, the case didn't go to court and all the rest of it, and then others will say, you know, he deserves a second chance. There's so many different angles to look at with this one. Ultimately, as I've said many, many times before on this channel, the decision isn't up to me. It's not up to you. We're not the people working at Manchester United. The decision is up to Manchester United. They've done an investigation. They've supposedly spoken to the victims. They've spoken to the sponsors. They've spoken to the rest of the team. They even said they were going to speak to the women's team. So you know, they've done whatever they think is a necessary investigation at their end. And us as fans, we're in the difficult situation here, because obviously some people will want him back, some people won't want him back, and obviously everybody is entitled to his opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion at the end of the day, and nobody can be, you know, shut down for having an opinion, because that's the world we live in. You know, we do have free speech where, you know, everybody is entitled to their opinion. But so Fabrizio Romano's just putting out the same story as well. Yeah, it's literally everywhere now. Fabrizio, The Athletic. But the Athletic article is the one that came out first. So just to be very, very clear, The Athletic have put out this huge news piece surrounding this situation. And then minutes after that, Manchester United have also put out a piece as well. So Manchester United, the headline from The Athletic is Manchester United told senior staff that Mason Greenwood will return. It goes on to say that Manchester United's Chief Executive Richard Arnold has told the club's executive leadership that United are planning to bring back Mason Greenwood. It goes on to say, as part of that plan for Mason Greenwood's reintegration with the men's first team, Arnold will record a video explaining the decision that will be shared with both the staff and the general public. It goes on to say the plan laid out by Arnold that week was that Greenwood would not make any appearances with the club's charitable arm. So that would be like I don't know, whatever charities we're involved with. It goes on to say the Manchester United Foundation, so that he wouldn't be involved in the Manchester United Foundation in the short to medium term, even though the club would be bringing him back to the first team setup. So they're going to bring him back to the setup. That's what they're saying. It says, obviously, Greenwood has not played since blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So from what we're hearing as well, obviously there'll be some sort of TV interview as well. That was what was being spoken about a couple of days ago. Whether or not that will happen, we'll have to wait and see. It's mad, isn't it? It's a very fast developing situation. Obviously, there's a lot of mixed emotions. I'm sure some of you in the chat are absolutely buzzing. I'm sure some of you in the chat are really upset. That's obviously completely fine. And all I ask for is that you be respectful to each other, that you respect other people's opinions, because that's something I will always do on this channel. I will always respect, other people's opinions if they're different to mine. As long as you conduct them in a nice way and you're not horrible about it, I see absolutely no issue with you having an opinion. And we have to just see what happens here. We do, Right, I'm just going to read the rest of the article out for you. So this is on the Athletic website, which you do have to pay for. But obviously, because we have this community together, I do pay for the website so I can bring you guys these bits of news. So I'm just going to read the rest of the story out for you here. Okay, so it then goes on to say Manchester United have conducted their own independent review. And it says no further information has been communicated to supporters 6 months on. The United process was led by Chief Executive Richard Arnold, assisted by the club's legal counsel Patrick Stewart, Communications Chief Ellie Norman, Football Director John Murtagh, and the Chief Operating Officer Colette Roche. It says the Athletic had previously reported that United held meetings with Greenwood at the club's Carrington ground during the first month of the investigation. The club's owners, the Glazer family, appeared to have delegated key responsibility for the decision to Richard Arnold. So Richard Arnold is the one who's made this decision, okay? It's not the women's team. It's not anybody else before people start, getting things mixed up. It goes, Richard Arnold, who is set to face the public with the decision and informed the members of his leadership team about the chosen path after returning from the club's tour of the United States in pre-season. It goes on to say that sources close to the process spoke to the Athletic on the condition of being anonymous because they are not authorised to speak publicly. It says the Athletic has not been told the precise reason United have delayed the announcement of the decision, but it has been reported widely that the club wished to inform key stakeholders of the decision ahead of going public. This would have included principal sponsors, the club's fan advisory, prominent former players, also the women's team. So they have consulted everybody. They've spoken to the women's team, they've spoken to the key shareholders, they've spoken to the sponsors, they've spoken to Adidas, etc., etc. And it goes on to say, however, several key United players are currently on international duty, okay? It says one theory, therefore, is that United have simply delayed the formalities until their women's players return. United have never intended to consult their female players about the decision, but they did wish to give the team a heads up ahead of announcing it. So to be very, very clear, we said this on the show a couple of days ago, the women's team had no involvement in the decision. All they wanted to do was to give them the heads up before they put this out into the public domain, okay? Obviously, this has now been leaked, so it's almost worse than how they plan to do it. It says, however, the players found themselves the unwitting victims of social media storm last weekend when on the eve of England's World Cup quarter-final, a story emerged in The Guardian that claimed the decision had been delayed to allow Manchester United to consult the women's team. Blah, blah, blah. And then this is the bit which I think is really, really important. It says the Athletic have been reportedly told that the club's football operations department, including John Murtagh and Erik ten Hag, are supportive of Greenwood's return to the squad. So we have said this before on the channel. People have said, well, does Erik ten Hag want him back? What's going to happen? And from what's being said here, it looks like Erik ten Hag does want him back at the club. They do want him back. John Murtagh wants him back. Richard Arnold wants him back. They all want him to return to the club. People are asking to do a poll. We did do a poll on the community section of the website already, so I'm not going to do it again, but I will give you the results of the poll really, really quickly if people are interested in that. I'm not really up for doing it every single show because I just think it's a little bit... I just think it's a little bit boring, but let's have a look. So we did a poll the other day on the channel. 5,000 of you voted, and 86% of you wanted Mason Greenwood back, and 14% of you said you didn't want Mason Greenwood back. So it was quite a mixed. Well, it wasn't mixed at all. It was a complete whitewash in favour of Mason Greenwood. So, but yeah, obviously, do let me know in the comment section how you feel about this one. As I've said to you many, many times before, it's not up to us. It's up to Manchester United. It's up to John Murtagh. It's up to the CEO Richard Arnold. They've made the decision. They're the ones who've decided this. I'm just going to read you out the rest of the. So there's a little bit more here. It says, throughout this process, the welfare and perspective of the alleged victim has been central to the club's inquiries, and we respect her right to remain anonymous. We also have responsibilities to Mason as an employee. Okay, we've already read that bit out. It goes on to say that this has been a difficult case for everyone associated with Manchester United, and we understand the strong opinions it has provoked based on the partial evidence in the public domain. We ask for patience, blah, blah, blah. So the headline is, for anybody who is just joining late, that Manchester United have apparently, Richard Arnold has apparently told the rest of the backroom staff, the managers, the John Murters, the Glazers, it's his decision. He's made the decision that Mason Greenwood will be reintegrated into the men's first team. Okay, that's a really key thing to have here. He's not going to go. He's not going to go into the under-21s. He's not going to go out on loan. It says, as part of that plan for Greenwood's reintegration into the men's first team, Richard Arnold will record a video explaining the decision that would be shared with both the staff and the general public. So I know some of you are going to be absolutely buzzing. Some of you are going to be really, really upset. Obviously, you're all entitled to your opinions. I'm going to keep this video relatively short because obviously we will speak about it again at 6 o'clock when we do our usual show. So I'm going to wrap the video up here. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. And please do get in the comments section and let me know how you feel about this story. I've been Kieran. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.